What do people think is a scam? But they actually just don't understand it. When I tell them they have a coupon for $50 off when they spend $100, and so far they've spent $60, so they can pick something else out that'll basically be free. Unemployment benefits. There are many that I've worked with that didn't understand that unemployment payments aren't handouts from the government. One employee who truly was let go for no reason other than downsizing just refused to take it no matter how much I tried to explain it to him. It was sad because he really needed it and just couldn't understand that the employer pays into the unemployment fund specifically for this kind of thing. My dad thought Steam was a shady company because $800 was taken off his credit card on a game. He later found out my brother took his card and was the one who spent all that money. Literally anything that requires that they've seen their doctor's care plan, and we've reviewed it with them, refuse to sign. Financial forms that will get them free medications that normally cost $1,000 a month. Refuse to that allows us to provide them a nutritional supplement at no additional cost. Refuse to sign. Refusing a flu vaccine that could prevent them and the rest of the clinic from dying over the winter, and then also refusing to sign the form confirming that they've refused the vaccine. Debit card authorizations. I work at a hotel and the amount of times we get screamed at because people don't understand how their debit card works is way too high. Problems with this are almost a daily. Hotels do not charge you when you check in. They wait until you check out. However, they do authorize your card when you check in. And for all intents and purposes, this is pretty much the same thing as a charge as far as you, the customer, is concerned. The money doesn't officially come out of your account, and the hotel receive no money from the authorization. But it still means those funds aren't available to you until the authorization is released. Hotels have to do this. We can't just assume you had the money on your card to cover the amount of your stay. Leaving in 3 days. If we just trusted that everyone staying could pay in full at the end of their stay, then we'd have a lot of people who just disappeared at the end of their stay without paying. Nor can we check that your card has the money on it, then just operate on the assumption that it will still have the money on it in 3 days when you check out. People could easily go spend all the money on their debit card and then, in 3 days, no longer have the funds to pay. Even when they did at check-in, we have to put an authorization for the amount we expect you to owe at checkout. This effectively holds those funds aside, so that when we're ready to charge you at checkout, the money is there. While the authorization is active, you can't use those funds. They're still in your account, but can't be spent. This inevitably leads to people thinking we've taken money out of their account that we shouldn't have. You then see the hotel authorization and think it's our fault, when in fact it's because they had just enough to cover the hotel expenses on the card, and we're holding those with an authorization. This happens in several places where you use your debit card, even at gas pumps. When you swipe your card at a pump, it has no clue how much you're going to spend on gas. The gas station picks a number that it feels comfortable with, something a bit higher than what people normally spend on gas, and the pump will authorize your card for that amount. When you're done pumping, the final charge will go through. The only reason people notice is at hotels, but not elsewhere, is because of the length of time a hold may stay at a hotel. If you're staying a week, that authorization is made at check-in and remains on your account for that whole week until you check out. So pro tip, if you plan on paying a different way when you check out, go ahead and pay that way when you check in. Whatever card you provide at check-in will be authorized at that time. And as with anything else involving banks, it can take a few business days for an authorization to be released on your account. Edit: sorry folks, I can't keep up. I've tried to answer each unique question at least once in the comments. Reg us in full at check-in. I've answered in detail below, but the short version is that what we expect you to owe at check-in and what you actually owe at checkout can be different for various reasons. It takes banks a while to process things like reversals or funds, which could result in a double charge on your bank account for several days. We wait until checkout to make the official charge to save you as much hassle as possible. Artists who want money for their work, even for a friend relative. Doing a piece of art takes time, talent, and effort. Some people want a detailed piece of art that will take hours to complete and want it for free. Even if you're a friend or family member, it's still a lot of time and work. Please pay artists for their work. I'm begging you. When you're making a new account somewhere and it tells you to enter the email and a password for your account, some people think they're asking for the password to your email. Holy SHT, I never expected to even get more than 100 upvotes on a comment. Thanks everyone. Hello, we've been trying to reach you about an important safety recall notice for your oh my god Reddit gold and silver. Okay, guys, serious shit here. Go get your recalls fixed, quit fucking around, it's dangerous business. Call a dealership, ask if there are any recalls, get them done. I mean it. Thanks for gold and silver, who knew a half-assed joke based on the constant incessant nagging of my local Honda dealership would earn me awards. Edit. Moreover, I'm glad I've helped educate some people in the seriousness of this topic. Best part of this is that potentially I've helped some people not die from the Takata Claymore-style airbag train wreck. I'm happy to have helped you out, Redditors. When the mechanic tells you that your brake pads are completely gone and says it's just bare metal to metal, generic store brand versions of Tylenol, Aleve, etc., it's the same stuff, probably made in the same factory, just with a different label on it. Yet so many I know refuse to buy the generic store brand because it costs less, it can't work as well. People being paid for their time and knowledge. I hear if you loved animals more and weren't so greedy you would do this for free every day at my job. I would love to enter their office and demand their services for free. Getting a raise that gets you to a higher tax bracket. Seriously, people don't even use Google to verify it. When you get a raise, only the portion of the salary that goes above the bracket is getting the higher taxes. Holiday vacation insurance. Having previously traveled to USA, if anything went wrong where I needed medical assistance, I would be absolutely fucked without the insurance. Internet connection speeds. They get 100 megabits per second speeds and think it's 100 megabytes per second, not realizing it's only 12.5 megabytes per second. Then they claim they have slow speeds because they can't download XYZ game in for seconds. Preventive dental maintenance. I've lost count of the people who have proudly told me over the years that having your teeth cleaned by a hygienist is a scam and that plaque is not really a thing. I've also had a surprisingly large number of seemingly rational people tell me that dentists create holes in your teeth so they can scam you with fillings. Unclaimed property. What I am referring to is most all US states have a website you can visit and enter your name, and it will search through a government database for any assets, usually money, that is owed to you. For example, let's say you were on the budget plan for your electric bill, and one day you cancel it and move away. Your remaining money sitting in that account was probably mailed to your old address, then returned to the sender. Now they give it to this government unclaimed property division, where it sits in this database for something like 10 years, after which time if it's not claimed, the government keeps it. So yeah, sometimes I search my friends' names and let them know if there is unclaimed property that they can claim. Usually such messages are ignored, or they try telling me my account was hacked due to suspicious messages they've received from me. Credit cards. So many people afraid of ever touching the things because they've heard horror stories, when the real horror was lack of self-control and not anything inherently wrong with the product. Selling gold. People read the papers and see gold prices 45 euros per gram. Then they search all their gold and come to the store expecting 45 euros per gram for their 14 knots necklace. If they realize they get only 15 euros, they think you are on that note. People also seem to think that jewelers change the diamonds for fakes, which not one single goldsmith will do because a brilliant actually costs them not that much. The time to replace it costs more effort than it's worth, even if it is a 20,000 euros brilliant. Also, they will never take the risk that a customer will have it tested by another jeweler and it turns out to be fake all of a sudden. Any game downloaded on a family computer, all a family member says is that it has viruses. Sorry that the laptop was already fucking slow, Linda. Legal amount of people who try to save money doing it themselves often really screw things up. Yes, 200 per hour seems like a lot of money, but you gladly pay a surgeon to remove your appendix. Why not trust other properly vetted professionals to do it right the first time? Mortgage interest. Plea front-loading your interest so for years you hardly pay down principal or earn equity. No, that's just how math works on a loan when you set it up so you have a fixed monthly payment for decades. Vaccines. No, it's not a worldwide conspiracy by doctors to give every kid autism. It's to stop children from dying horrible deaths. Diets. They do reason they fail is because many people resume their pre-diet after losing gaining are forever. So find one you can live with for the rest of your life. Ooh, I hate to say this, but politics There is so much more to it than corrupt politicians that get elected and don't fulfill their promises. You got to get in first, then figure out how to handle the needy masses. If you promise reasonably, you won't get elected. Overpromise, everyone hates can't win. Tax brackets. In WV, all state employees were recently given a pathetic raise. I went to the DMV to change my license address and get the RealID while I was at it, and one of the proofs of residency I used was my pay stub from the Board of Education I work for. They then started talking about how they were going to make less than they currently were because the raise would bump them up a tax bracket. I just wanted to get in and out, so I just kept my mouth shut. Credit cards. A lot of older people think it's some kind of scam. If it's done right, you actually make money off of them. As long as you have self-control and never spend more than you have and are able to pay the bill at the end of the month, you actually make money. I make a couple $100 in cash back each year. Never spend what you can't pay back or you will be screwed with interest. Treat it just like you would treat a debit card or checking account. Veterinary medicine in general. I work in a vet hospital and every so often we get clients that think that everything we recommend is just us trying to trick them out of more money. Somehow they expect the vet to just look at the pet and instantly know what is causing the issues the pet has. For example, a dog has a skin rash and is losing hair in different places. The doctor recommends a skin scrape and a skin impression to try to determine the cause, maybe a fungal culture. Client says, "Why do we need that? Can't you just tell me what it is?" No, we can't. There are many different causes for those exact same symptoms, and the only way to know for sure is to test it. Environmental allergies, like to pollens and grasses, flea allergy, dermatitis, which can be caused by a single flea bite, even when the pet is using flea prevention, and exposure to irritating chemicals. Each of these require different treatments, and some of them can actually be made worse by using the wrong treatment. When the doctor recommends testing, it's not just to pad the bill. We really should do some kind of testing. It always confuses me the amount of people who are against chemicals being in anything. Sorry to tell you this, folks, but literally everything is chemicals. I was in line at the dollar store once and I picked up a cherry Pepsi. I drink a soda maybe once a month. Nothing against them. I just don't really like fizzy drinks as they give me heartburn. Occasionally I take the heartburn just to get the taste. Anyways, as I pick this thing up that is a special treat for me, this pretentious douchebag pipes up from behind me. He says something to the effect of, "I can't believe you would get that. Don't you realize how many chemicals are in Pepsi?" I was immediately pissed because this guy was acting like he was better than me. That is when I reached for my favorite way to shut someone up. I took it to an even more extreme place and said, "Yeah, I know there are a lot of chemicals, but after a night of shooting up heroin, it is the only thing that will settle my stomach. For the record, I have never done heroin." The look on his face was priceless. He just kind of deflated, blushed and looked away while saying nervously, "OHL, maybe try Tums, ML Miss." People while simultaneously selling the false dream of financial freedom through market oversaturation, while also often falsely promising that their cheap product will somehow cure some health issue. Oh wait, no. That's totally a scam. Non-profit organizations that pay their workers more than 10 of donations. If only we would pay people to do good things for others and give them a career of doing it, we might make the world better. Also, you want these companies to grow so that you can help more people instead of stagnating forever. But no. As soon as the media hears a company takes like 20-30 of the donations, they get chastised and lose a huge portion of the donations and shrink in size. There was a Freakonomics episode about this one. Preventative maintenance for your car. If you go in for a brake job, and the mechanic tells you that you should get new tires, it's worth you taking a look and considering new tires. Annex will try to take advantage of you. That's just how it is. But you should at least listen to the mechanic when he says something instead of say, "I don't need new tires," and then getting a flat. This is a bit specific, but I'm a music producer, and I can't tell you how many times artists look totally shocked when I said I charge for beats. Some people just can't wrap their head around the idea that someone who spent over $2,000 on equipment and has over 5 years of experience won't make them beats for free. Less insightful than other posts here, but something that's bugged me for a while. Westerners who purchase clothing from online stores, which are China-based, then leaving bad reviews about how the clothes were way too small and the website is a scam. Those people never even bother to check the sizing charts, and most often than not there is a disclaimer that they should size up as Asians typically have smaller structure than Westerners do. Calories in versus calories magic diets exist to miraculously lose weight. It's thermodynamics.